Corinthians chapter 10. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. My text is going to be verse 5, but I'm going to start a couple of verses before that. And I've got some other scriptures to read, but you won't have to turn there to that. But our text today, and I want to talk to you today about casting down imaginations. And here is Paul, and he is talking, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. In other words, he says we don't have to use fleshly means. Anger, revenge. We don't have to use that. He says, verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, not physical, not through the human exercise of his mind, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalt itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having inner readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. C. Peter Wagner has stated in a book on prayer that imaginations, another word for imaginations, is arguments. And it's an amazing thing. God was dealing with me at the beginning of the week about this, and it's kind of been brewing in my heart and spirit for a couple of weeks. But he went on to say in his thing there, fairly large numbers of Christians like to argue. So I want to address this issue about arguing and imagination arguing. But first, let me just lay a foundation, because I've never preached this message before. And I believe I've never heard others preach this message before. Somebody could have along the way, and I just never heard it. But God has alerted and opened up my heart and spirit toward this. But I just want to read some things, what it says to us in Philippians chapter 2 and 14. It says, do everything without complaining and arguing. He said in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 14, keep reminding God's people of these things, warn them before God against quarreling about words that has no value and ruins those who listen. 2 Timothy 2, 23 and 24, don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments. It produces quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but should be able to teach and not be resentful. Proverbs 29 and verse 22, an angry person stirs up conflict. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 16, avoid pointless discussions. Titus 3:9, avoid foolish controversies, arguments about genealogy, quarrels, and fights about the law. Proverbs 15 verse 28, the heart of the godly thinks carefully before speaking. Proverbs 26 and 17, interfering with somebody else's argument is as foolish as yanking a dog's ears. Isn't that amazing what a sense of humor that the wisdom writer had there? And it goes on and on, but he talks that empty arguments, Empty arguments are not what God